Bring one thing from what you've seen at home that you want to talk about.
Okay, well, I think I'll probably because it was sort of over Christmas I saw this. I'm probably going to bring Emancipation into the mix.
Yes,
I think this
Emancipation.
is upset because I quite like my historical, and this is basically based. There was a photograph of a slave that had been whipped, and a famous black and white photograph. I forget the chaps. I should, yeah.
Peter,
And
yeah.
yeah, so this was all around the world to show the difference. And he actually joined the Union forces in where the Emancipation comes in. He says, "Oh, I've got to find Lincoln. I've got to find Lincoln." So the film starts off on a plantation with your archetypical, really, really nasty, you know, slavers and all
Slavery. All you have to say is
yeah.
slavery.
So all the horrible people you could possibly think of, with no nice ones among them. And he gets taken away to work for the Confederate Army, like building a railroad. So, and he says to his family, "Right, I'll get back to you. I'll get back to you." And so he gets spoon this way, and he runs away with a couple of other people, and it becomes a bit of a chase movie through the Louisiana swamplands. And I mean, really, there's nothing new in this. You know, it's like you got hateful, horrible characters, you know, straight out of Django Unchained that are probably you know, chasing
Probably
him, and
straight out of Uncle Tom's Cabin.
Uncle Tom's Cabin, yeah, yeah. So,
Simon Legree.
And yeah, and so it's just this thing and making his way back and going through perils at certain times and getting, you know, chased here and escaping and coming up with really, really good ideas. Some of them which were quite good. I thought I quite liked that aspect of it. But the one thing I couldn't get over with this is
Will Smith's accent.
No, not even that. His expression. There's expression. He had one expression through the whole of the film, which really, really bugged me. Really, really did. He was just like, and he didn't convince me. I was not convinced. I think for me personally, I didn't believe he was, any time did I believe he was in peril or whether he was in, he just had one sourpuss look up on his face, one expression which never changed, you know. It might have raised an eyebrow like Roger Moore, you know, but you know, he never really, and it didn't, I don't know, it didn't come with. I quite enjoyed the scenery, some of the things to get away from the people that were chasing him. I thought were quite good, quite interesting. He was quite clever in that respect, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It just. I think this could have been a good film. I mean, the cinematography was quite good. The atmosphere, the swamplands, and as I say, even there was a couple of action scenes, because at the beginning and at the end, I wouldn't say there was anything particularly nasty in it. You know, there wasn't like lots of gore and blood, but there was a little bit. But for me, I don't know. I wanted to like it, Toes. I really, really wanted to like it.
Yeah.
But
I think it's the kind of film that when you hear the premise, you want to like it.
Yes.
It's like you hear the premise and you talk about it, you're predisposed to like, okay, please let this be good.
Yes, yeah. I mean, even the guy that was chasing him is an actor I like, but I can never ever remember his name.
Ben Foster.
Ben Foster. I mean, I love Ben Foster in a lot of things,
Yeah.
but even in this, he didn't. I don't know. It just the acting wasn't convincing for me. It was
Okay.
It was like you know, it wasn't well acted. And as I say, Will Smith. I think Will Smith. He's starting. I don't know what is. I don't think he's done. I mean, I didn't really like that Into Earth film what he was in, or After Earth.
After Earth. After Earth.
I
don't think many people did. So.
No, and I just worry that he's, you know, becoming a bit. I don't know. I can't explain it. But if you see the sort of, you know, like the postery thing for the movie or the publicity for the movie,
yeah,
that one expression that he's got in that never, ever changes. So yeah, so that never changes through the whole film. It's that look, and it's like, come on, because, well, you're better than this, man. You can do this, and it just was like, no, sorry.
Well, I'll tell you one thing about this film, that even from the poster, the makeup people have done a great job, because Will Smith kind of doesn't look like Will Smith.
No.
And I think that's actually quite an achievement, because when I saw when I saw the first still of this film, they're like, Will Smith, like, oh my god, yeah, that is Will Smith. But no, this is a film that you know, when you talk about wanting to like it, and obviously I think any film that you do that's going to be set in America, that's going to be set during slavery, nowadays is going to get comparisons to 12 Years a Slave.
Of course, it is.
Yeah, and that's a film that I always say, brilliant film, never watching it again in my life.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's and it's something I think I've spoken to. We spoke about when that film Antebellum came up with Janelle Monáe in it. I think you saw it, Sean, and Holly saw it as well. And I said I don't think I can watch it because I personally am over images of black people getting brutalized.
Yes.
And everything I hear about this film is that the first bit of the film before it becomes a chase movie is like exploitationary slavery movie making 101. Let's get some black people and let's call them the N-word 15,000 times and let's whip them and let's kick them about and let's shove them in things and I'm like, and this actually made me wonder.
All over it, yeah.
Yeah, it made me start thinking like, okay, if I was going to make a film, maybe I was going to make a film that, because I think that these stories need to be told. I think it's just about the way you tell them. It's if I was going to make a film that was set during that time and you're going to talk about the black people's experience of slavery, which I think needs to keep being spoken about because there's enough people in the world who try and ignore it. And the thing is, I think it needs to be spoken about, but I would think I would want to make a film, but I would want to make a film without showing all that stuff. Yeah, maybe showing more the effects of that stuff on people and the effects of that stuff on the psyche of a people. But it's so that when I hear that there's going to be more of that kind of like slavery stuff, I'm just like, no.
I mean, some of the historical. I mean, this was, as I say, it was based on a character. But I mean, there are some movies like I like Selma, and I think there's a movie coming out soon which is about the boy who gets killed down. I forget, it's like a lady, whatever that is. I saw a thing on Cineworld next week, which I'd like to see. What's it called? That looks quite good. So. I mean, some of these, this wasn't up there. This was just a chase movie with a bit of nice scenery and, you know, some like.
I'm actually up for the chase movie bit. The chase movie bit of it makes me more likely to want to watch it than the slavery bit. Yeah. Well, the slavery bit, like you say, is at the beginning, then it becomes a chase movie with some horrible people along the way. But you know, because the chase movies are at least him trying to do something, take agency, trying to escape. That's something. But anyway, how many stars would you give Emancipation?
Okay, Emancipation. As I say, I wanted to like it, so the chase scene was pretty good. The battle scene at the end was fairly good, so I would give this a low three. But I did find that, I mean, perhaps they put so much makeup on Will that he couldn't move his face at all. He couldn't move his face. He couldn't move his face. But honestly, if you do watch it, I know you probably won't. But if you do watch it, that expression on the paper never moves. Never moves. No matter what he does, whether he goes through water or whether he's up a tree or whether he's talking to Union soldiers or Confederate soldiers, it never changes. So I'll give it a 3 anyway.
I love the idea that they caked him with so much makeup he couldn't move his face. I love the idea. Cool.